Hey guys, so we are on day 3 of markups and discounts. So last week we learned how to find the sale price. So if I bought a pair of jeans that were originally $45 with a 10% discount, I figured out the new price or the sale price. We learned how to find the percent in which we discount or mark up. So if I gave you the new price and the original price, you could figure out that percent of change. Today, we're going to be working backwards to find the original price of an item. So let's go ahead and warm up our brains here with what we have done the past few days. So finding the sale price and the percent markup. I'll pause the video while you work. All right, let's go ahead and go over these answers here. I'm going to bring those up and then we'll talk about it. Here are your answers. All righty, so our two answers here are $53.10 and an 80% markup. So that store is making quite a bit of money off those rollerblades by marking it up a total of 80%. That cell phone discount really just comes down to $5.90 off, which is a total price of $5 or $53.10. I want to focus in here on finding the sale price for a second. So we learned that step number one is using the percent equation, figuring out how much is really 10%. And then step number 2, we either subtracted or we added to find the new amount, depending on if it was a discount or markup. Well, today I'm going to give you the answer, $53.10, and I'm going to give you the discount or markup. You need to find the original amount. So what we're going to do is work backwards. Okay, so we'll do step 2 first, which was subtract or add, and then we'll do step 1 using the percent equation. So let's go ahead and look at an example of that with the steps to solve. All right, so to find the original price of an item, what we do here is first you need to find the percent you pay. So again, we're going to start with subtraction or adding, depending on if it's a discount or markup. So when I look here, I'm going to subtract or add my percents. Because we're working backwards, we're actually subtracting or adding percents. So if the discount was 5%, we subtract that from 100% to get our 95%. Step number 2, use that percent equation. So we have our A equals PW. So our A is our sale price here. Our percent is that subtracted or added percent. And then we divide by 0.95 on both sides, one-step equation, to get 72. That means the original price was $72. Make sure you're writing these steps down in your notebook and your example here. We always want to make sure we label our answers. So there's my dollar sign down there. So again, we're working backwards. So step 1, we're really going to add or subtract, depending on if it's a markup or discount. Step 2, percent equation, and substitute and solve. Let's go ahead and look at another example of this. So we're finding the original price of the item. So as I just said, step number 1, we are either going to subtract or add. So I have a 45% discount here. So what I'm going to do, since it's discount, that tells me I'm subtracting. Subtract that discount from 100%. So that's going to give me the number 55%, and that's the number I'm actually going to be using. Step number 2. Now I can use my A equals PW formula. My A is my sale price, so $55. My P is the percent I just found, so 55%, which we know is 0.55, W. To get W, my whole amount, my original amount, all alone, I divide both sides by 0.55. This 0.55 and 0.55 cancel out. So I'm left with W equaling 55 divided by 0.55, $100. So the original price is $100. All right, let's go ahead and you try this next one. We'll pause the video while you work. All right, here's step number 1. So the first thing I needed to do is this is a discount. So I needed to subtract, because I'm working backwards, that 20% away, which means I'm really paying 80% of that money. Here's step number 2. So I substituted it into my A equals PW formula. A is 89.36. P is 0.8, that subtracted amount I just found. Divide both sides by 0.8 to spit out 111.7. I do need to put this in terms of money. And in terms of money, this is $111.70. How'd you do? Did you figure out step 1 all by itself, which is subtracting that discount from 100%? Did you do step 2 correctly? Substitute in your values, use inverses to solve. Step 3, did you label and answer the actual question asked? Let's go ahead and you try, or we'll do this one together. I apologize. So step number 1 here is a little bit different. I'm still going to take my 100% and my 12%, because I start with 100%, and then the percent they give us is 12%. But this is a markup. So now I'm going to add those percents together to get 112%. That's how much this really costs me, is 112% of the item. Now, step number 2 is exactly the same. So I have my A equals PW formula. My A is whatever my selling cost was. So 112 equals my percent, which is really 112%. We can't plug in 112%. We have to plug in 1.12. And my W is what I'm looking for. I'm going to use inverses on both sides by dividing by 1.12. Divide by 1.12. 112 divided by 1.12 spits out W to equal 100, which, making sure we do our final step, my cost to the store is $100, making sure you label. So the only difference with this one is because it's a markup, I'm going to add instead of subtract from 100%. All right, go ahead and you try this one. We have find the original price of an item. A swimsuit was discounted 65%, and now it's on sale for $20.30. So it's the same thing as we just did. It's just in more of a story problem. We'll pause the video while you work. All right, and here's your answer. All right, so step number 1 was to subtract that 65% because it is a discount of 65%. To get the percent we're actually paying, that's what we want to work with now. Substitute for step number 2 into our formula, dividing by 0.35 on both sides, spitting out our answer of $58. So the original swimsuit cost $58 and you only paid $20.30 because of that 65% discount. Let's go ahead and try another one here. Find the original price of this tennis racket. It was marked up 50%, and now the cost is $36.75. What was the original cost? Try it in your notebook. We'll pause the video while you work. All right, and here's the correct answer for that. All right, so we have the original cost comes up to $24.50. So step number 1 here, we added our 100% and 50% because it is a markup. So we had to add it to 100%. Step number 2, we substituted into our equation. Did you substitute correctly? Did you solve correctly by dividing 1.5 on both sides to get the original cost of $24.50? So this tennis racket only was originally $24.50, but this store came in and decided to mark up that price, and now they're charging you $36.75. Let's try this backpack. What is the original cost after the 10% discount? Try it in your notebook. We'll pause the video while you work. All right, and here's the correct answer for this one. So your final answer should be $42. How'd you do with step 1? Did you discount that 10%? Did you subtract that 10%? Step 2, did you substitute into our percent equation correctly? Did you solve by dividing 0.9 on both sides correctly to get $42? So that means this backpack originally was $42, but the store gave you a 10% discount. So you really only paid $37.80. All right, at this point, we should be able to solve 3 different types of discount markup problems. The first one, can you find the sale price or the new amount? Step 2, can you find the percent discount markup, which means that percent of change? And problem type 3, can you find the original price? And that's that working backwards that we did today. What I want you to do is try all 3 of these in your notebook and see where you're at. We'll pause the video while you work. All right, here are the 3 different answers for these problems. All right, really evaluate your understanding. How did you do on these 3 problems? Did you find the sale price? And if you can't see there, that answer is $68.25. There we go. How'd you do with the markup? Did you find that 30% markup? And how did you do with the original price? Could you work backwards to figure out that $60 original price? Again, at this point, these are the 3 types of problems you need to know how to do. Tomorrow, you will have an assignment on these 3 types. So if there's one type that you're still stuck on, you want to put in that extra practice. We have 2 more problems to work on here, just as extra practice. Go ahead and try this one in your notebook, and we'll pause the video while you work. All right, here's the answers to these ones. All right, so the original price here is, sorry for not pausing that video. The original price here is, not the original price, the better buy is Team A or Gene A. They had a cheaper starting price, a less discount, but it still came out to a cheaper new amount. Go ahead and you're going to try this. Here's some extra practice. Try it in your notebook, and I'll pause the video while you work. And here's the correct answer for this one. How are you doing with these scales? Finding the original price, the percent, or the sale price? You need to be able to go back and forth between these three amounts. Thanks.